Welcome back to the Okaloosa Today show. I'm Kathy Newby, Public Information Officer for Okaloosa County, and today my guest is the Vice Chairwoman, Commissioner Carolyn Ketchel. Welcome, Commissioner Ketchel.
Thank you. It's so nice to be with you all today.
Well, thank you.
Excited to be here to represent Okaloosa County.
We're going to talk about budget, and we're going to talk about some new things in Okaloosa County, like the Farmers Market and the Florida Association of Counties Advocacy Award that you received this year. So we'll get into all of that, and let's start with the Farmers Market, because that's kind of exciting news for a lot of our residents. We have a new name, a new permanent structure. What's left to do? Tell us all about it, Carol.
Well, I couldn't be happier about the Farmers Market, and I just really want to thank my fellow commissioners. We have a very tight budget, and this really was an effort by the commissioners to come forward and put together a perfect marriage between the North End and the South End. The North End growers and the South End who need the products from our Farmers Market. Many years ago, before the annex was built for the courthouse, there was a farmers market there, a large farmers market, and it was my dream to bring something like that back. What we have now is wholly inadequate. It's just a little carport. So now people are seeing the structure go up. It's going to have running water.
So it's bigger.
It's bigger. It's going to have electricity. It has fans so that the farmers that are there all day with their wares, they're cooled down. Beautiful tables. We have room for 16 vendors, and it's being coordinated through our Okaloosa County Extension Office. So aren't we blessed?
Yes.
And one more thing I have to say about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ruth Clark really has been the person that has driven the farmers market, kept it going all these years, her husband until he passed. And now Ruth Clark, so we are honoring her by naming it the Miss Ruth Farmers Market.
Oh, I love it. That's wonderful. Wonderful.
I'm thrilled.
News.
So I'm asking everybody to come out and support this. It is going to be bigger, better, and it's going to grow and really serve our area and allow the farmers from the North End to bring all the farming products to the South End.
Right. I love to go there and get fresh vegetables. And of course, it's open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Is that going to stay the same?
That is the same. I think they come there about 7, and they usually,
they get there early.
About 1:30, everything is sold out, and they go home. So I look forward to it. It's my favorite thing.
Well, good. So check out the new facilities there. Still in the same place.
Yes.
Just right there by the fairgrounds.
Really beautiful. Yeah. And we thank our Public Works Department for all the work they did putting that farmers market together. Low budget, we got it done. And again, it's just going to be such an asset for our area and the fairground. I'm just so grateful.
Much improved. Miss Ruth's Farmers Market.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, well, the Okaloosa County budget, speaking of the budget, is taking shape. We've been working on this since April at the county level with the departments and with presentations in July and August for the public, and with the county commission, and with the Board of County Commissioners and our citizens, of course. Our final budget hearings for the public are in September, so that's when everything is finalized, coming up in September. And of course, we'll have our North End and South End meeting like we always do. But you want to talk a little bit about the budget and where they can get some information on that?
Well, every year we struggle to make sure that we have a very efficient budget, but at the same time provide the services that government so needs, including our ambulance service. Public safety is very important, our jail, the roads. And when you think of all that goes into this, look at your own roads, look at our roads that we use, our bridges. This takes a lot of money to do this. The good news is there's no increase in taxes this year, so I know everybody out there is saying very good, because we are a fiscally conservative area and we try to do the most with every little bit we've got. We have
the lowest millage in the state.
We do have the lowest millage. We have a $370 million spending plan, which is based on keeping the property tax rate at 3.308 mills. And 1 mill equals $1 for every $1,000 of property value. And that's important for people to try to understand that.
Right.
So our property values are expected to increase by 4.2%, which will equate, thank goodness, to an additional amount of $2.4 million tax revenue, which we need. That's how we pay for roads.
Exactly. So that's kind of how it happened, and how we didn't have to raise taxes. We're going to make a little bit extra this year to attack some of those infrastructure needs that we have. And of course, this commission has been very proactive, since they came on board last year, and got a lot done this year. We're going to get a lot done in the coming year. So
I also want to talk about our employees, and I really want to give a shout out to them. If you ever see county workers, stop and thank them for what they're doing. We, everybody knows who it works, our healthcare costs have just gone through the roof everywhere in the United States under the new Affordable Care Act, and I don't see an end to this. It's a great concern to everyone, and depending on who is elected in November to the White House, we have two different views on how this is to be resolved. But as it trickles down to our county workers, they felt an increase, and so we were escalating their cost, and I thought, well, this is an opportunity to bring forward an additional raise. County workers have not had a raise for 5 or 6 years. So this year they will get a $1,000 increase. Now, originally in the budget it was $800, but the commissioners went together and decided that an additional $200 increase would help cover some of the cost of the increase of the health care. And I consider this to be a small investment to show our employees that county leadership values the service that they give to our county for some of the most difficult jobs, driving ambulance, cleaning up, after a terrible rainstorm, sewage, things that we take for granted. When we turn the spigot or flush the toilet, it works. But there's somebody out there that's doing that job. Right. So thank you, everyone.
And they're not making a huge amount of money when they're doing it. Working out in the heat and the cold and all those kind of options. And in the middle of the night sometimes.
And the hurricanes, and when it's below.
And hurricanes. And,
yes, right.
When bridges ice over. But also, I encourage everybody to start to get familiar with it between now and those September meetings. It's really easy to find on our website. Yes, it is. And we, again, like Carolyn said, we try to communicate this better every year, and we've gotten a lot better over the last few years at trying to make it a little bit more user friendly. So, but you can find it on our website. You can get to that page right from the home page for our budget.
We should give a shout out to our enterprise funds. The TDC, the bed tax has just gone through the roof. Everyone has discovered us. There was a time when nobody came here. Now, too many people probably come here. Our roads can't handle it. But we've been fortunate to have an additional $9.3 million this year in bed tax, and it's projected to go even higher. Our airport department is doing amazing under the leadership of Tracy Stage. I hope he gets to hear this broadcast. We have had
all-time record highs in passengers this year.
We've brought in so many carriers, 4 carriers, I believe. We have a $3.2 million in passenger facility charges, additional money coming into this county. Wow, he has done a fabulous job, and Allegiance just continues to add additional locations. Don't think for a moment, that you don't have a direct flight out of here, because you probably do.
Stay tuned.
Go on our website at the airport and look at all the locations where we fly to now. Places. Who would have ever thought, Las Vegas, Little Rock.
Washington starts back soon, I think.
Yeah,
so.
Washington, D.C. With American. We were so lucky with our legacy and the smaller carriers, Glow Airline and everything. So we're blessed. And
you bring up an important point that we kind of really focus in on each year. I do as Public Information Officer, trying to explain this budget, and that is that enterprise funds. Those are the departments that you pay fees for services, or they have some type of income coming in. Public safety does some of both. They do have some fees, but they also do use some ad valorem taxes. And what's important to realize is that when Commissioner Ketchel mentions a $370 million budget, of that amount, the ad valorem taxes is only $54,000.
Yes,
is that right?
That's right.
So of that huge budget, really the actual, ad valorem taxes is only $54 million. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that figure.
I've got it here somewhere.
But while you're looking, I'll just mention. Did you find it?
$54 million.
The other one, water sewer. everybody is concerned when they get those bills that their rates are going to go up. But because of the work that they've done with Eggland to put a pipeline through, they've been able to keep the rates steady for the next 2 years. There will be no increase in your bill.
That's
and
very
so
important.
That's a wonderful thing that Jeff Luttrell has done. And we can't say enough about all of our enterprise funds. They are quite amazing. And if you're ever over there paying your water bill, you might thank them for not giving you a rate increase.
Right, right. So some of those other funds, in addition to enterprise funds, are cash carry forward. Those are projects that were started in the previous year and they're not complete. So then that money rolls over into the new budget. So that's not new money. That's still money from the previous budget. So just to kind of bring those numbers into focus a little bit for our public, to let them know that, only this much is ad valorem. A lot of this $370 million is cash carry forward from the previous year to continue the projects that we started, like the courthouse.
Like the courthouse, and let's mention that a little bit. I hope a lot of the North End listeners are listening. Our county seat is Crestview. Okay, a lot of people think the courthouse is over on Lewis Turner. That is an annex. It is a courthouse, but it is an annex. The county seat is in Crestview, and we are very proud of the fact that we are able to build this courthouse and not increase taxes. We were able to leverage it with many of the lands that we have and own as a county. And so we're going to have a beautiful new courthouse that will be ADA compliant, that will allow for our judges to move about safely and those who come to visit the judges, so that we won't have to have a victim and a victimizer in the hallway together. Mm-hmm. This is going to be such a wonderful show place, and I thank all the commissioners that have worked so hard to make this happen at no tax increase. Now, they've run into some problems. We knew there were problems in that courthouse, where there was toxic asbestos. And as the abatement crews have come in, they've had to dig a little deeper, and so people are saying, well, how come they're not doing anything? November, we expect now. November, the timeline has slipped, but we expect the construction and the taking down of the old courthouse to begin about November. And you mentioned something interesting about the Sheriff's Department. I like this.
Well, our Public Works Director, Jason Autry, says they're going to have an active shooter exercise in there. The Sheriff's Department is. So that was another thing that, you have this building, you're going to tear it down. Why not get some use out of it before they actually demolish it? So the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is actually going to practice an active shooter program exercise in there. And hey, that's what keeps us all safe is them practicing for these things. Another thing that keeps us safe with the new courthouse, it's going to be a lot safer. It's going to be a lot more secure, like you say, in the hallways and things. And so, that's just
very
one of those
important.
things you have to do.
And what a show place it's going to be. It's going to be a beautiful building for downtown Crestview. And they've done so much work down there. I love Crestview. It's a beautiful place to shop and eat. And there's so many good restaurants, and this is really going to be so lovely to have this. And we got some additional parking up there, so we're really coming along. Little by little, our county is developing and growing.
Right.
It's so nice. So, one of the things we want to mention, we talked about other issues, that we have many people who die in Okaloosa County, the elderly, the indigent poor, and sometimes, sadly, infants that are abandoned, and nobody claims them. And so the county is the last resort to bury these individuals. On November 2nd at 10 o'clock at Beale Cemetery, we're going to have a very large ecumenical service to bury over 450 individuals in cremains. So we ask the public, if you are interested, mark your calendar, November 2nd, 10 o'clock. It's a very lovely way to remember that all lives are important, and that, just because you died in a circumstance where maybe you lived to be very old and all of your relatives have passed on, this is a way to remember our dead. And I love our community for this.
And this is something you spearheaded, really.
Well,
Commissioner Ketchel.
It kind of came all together. I don't want to take the credit because many people had done this over the years, but the question that I asked is, well, what do we do with the individuals? And when I realized that we had all these folks that were sitting in shelves in cremain boxes, I realized that this was an opportunity for our faith community to come together and to bury the dead. So the Fort Walton Beach has worked with us to create a Lazarus field. We now have burial plots for everyone. So I'm very excited about this in that it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to honor people from the moment of their birth, you know, the moment of conception until the moment of death, and to let them know that we are so, we honor them even though the circumstances of their death may not have been the best.
That sounds wonderful. November 2nd. Okay. And then one other thing I want to mention about the budget before we move on is our Municipal Service Taxing Unit. That's also going to stay the same. And that money is restricted. That is just for our parks. And I think some of it can be used for stormwater, things like that, and lighting and different things like that. So those are some of the other things. And you're only taxed on those, of course, if you're in that unincorporated area.
And we do have beautiful parks in Okaloosa County. Veterans Park being one of the most beautiful, that I invite people in my district to go out to the island and look at Veterans Park, which is just next to Marler Park or next to the Convention Center. And there is a beautiful rookery out there of 35 nesting herons, some great horned owls, and other interesting wildlife.
Birds out there. That's right. That's right. So a lot of these funds too are restricted into what you can use them for. So that, saying that about the budget, I think that just about covers everything. Real quick, in about a minute, can you talk about your FAC Award? Because we definitely want to highlight that.
Oh, how sweet of you to even bring that up. Well, I was completely surprised. Of course, when we become commissioners, we're encouraged to get involved with the Florida Association of Counties, and I don't know what I would have done without FAC. They've taught me so much about being a good commissioner. And they surprised me with the Presidential Award for my work on taxes, but I chair the Tax and Finance Committee for them and did a lot of work in Tallahassee with our now Congressman Matt Gaetz, to be soon.
Right.
And he was the state representative at the time, and together we did some pretty good work. So that was an honor that I didn't see coming, but it makes me feel happy that that work is recognized.
Well, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else before we go on?
There's many things we could talk about, but we've run out of time.
I know. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Me.
Again, I remind everybody to tune into that website. Call commissioners if you have questions about the budget. Feel free to ask us anything. We want you to be informed by the September public hearings. So take a look at that, and I will move on to my PIO update, which is just really a couple of highlights. We would like to recognize 204 new savers in the Teach Children to Save program. So congratulations to the following individual winners: Landon Burns, Trey Krause, Janie Darby, Brady Duval, Destiny D'Angelo, and Branton Smith for being savers. And these kids are learning how to save, and they're going to grow up and be great citizens and savers in the future. And then I also want to honor these women who were inducted into the Hall of Fame by the Okaloosa County Commission on Status of Women, and that is Alexis Tibbetts, Linda Ivanchek, Almut Fling Parker, Shirley Piggott, Mary Lou Reed, and past Commissioner Elaine Tucker. Please tune in next time, and thank you for watching the Okaloosa Today Show.
Thanks for watching Okaloosa Today. Join us again next month to learn about local news and information for Okaloosa County, Fort Walton Beach, and Destin.